Let's talk some Auburn recruiting. The Tigers are off to a hot start, sitting at number 4, and they have a total of 6 current commitments, half of which are in the top 100. But today, we are here to talk about Auburn's shot at On3's number 1 player in the country, edge Zion Elely. And he's committed to Maryland, yes, but on National Signing Day, we had on expert Steve Wiltfong and Chad Simmons, and I asked them, do you think he's going to end up signing with Maryland 1 year from now? They had their doubts, so I said, what team is the biggest threat? Both of them agreed that Auburn was the team to watch right now. So on this video, we're going to head out to the Plains. We're going to talk with Jeffrey Lee of Auburn Live and find out if Auburn's going to land the number 1 player in America this year. But before we get going, Auburn fans, these are exciting times. Make sure you hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel. This is the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube, and we want you to be subscribed, so jump on board. All right, let's bring on Jeffrey Lee of Auburn Live. There he is, Jeff. Let's talk a little bit about Zion Elely, because the boys, Chad Simmons and Steve Wiltfong, they got my attention by saying that Auburn is a potential threat. So we know he was there for Junior Day. Haven't really talked too much about it since, but what have your sources been saying coming out of that Junior Day visit?
Feeling great about the visit, feeling great about the relationships that they have, not only with St. Francis Academy, but with Zion Elely. It goes back, Josh, not only with DJ Durkin, who is very well known up in that area and has done very well. Auburn is 4 for 4 right now with St. Francis kids since DJ Durkin has come over. That includes Bryce Diss, Blake Woodby, Darrell Robinson, Darion Smith, they close with on signing day. So 4 for 4 so far. You're looking at Wayne Henry, who they have committed. So 4.5 out of 4.5. And then Zion Elely and Jair Edwards, the other two that they're really trying to get in the boat. But Zion, I tell you, Josh, something that's going to get talked about more and more here is not just DJ Durkin, Hugh Freeze, Rock Bellantoni, but Wayne Henry. Wayne Henry is now an assistant edge coach for Auburn. He is Rock Bellantoni's assistant. He coached at St. Francis 2 years ago before going on to Coastal Carolina and now at Auburn. But there's several relationships there with Zion Elely that I think are very beneficial for Auburn, very advantageous for Auburn, which makes them a huge threat to the in-state Maryland.
All right. So he had a really interesting quote. He came out and said, it's not all about NIL. He said, I know wherever I go, I'm going to make my money. So if it's not just an NIL battle here, what does Auburn really have going for
them? These St. Francis kids, believe it or not, man, and these for the past 2 years, I've been covering these kids since DJ Durkin has really started recruiting there. But they're very tight. They're a very tight-knit group of kids, a very tight-knit group of teammates. And it was a big deal that Blake Woodby committed to Auburn back in the summer. His commitment got things rolling with Bryce Diss. Wayne Henry committed early. Darrell Robinson came in, and they're very close. So when Zion Elely comes down for his Junior Day visit, and when he's leaving, he's talking about those relationships, Josh, and I think it's big. I think that's what Auburn and Hugh Freeze, they're going to those high school ranks. They've got the NIL to compete with anybody. Yeah. Their offer might not be the highest. It might not be the best, but it's going to be comparable. And if you can get in that comparable, if you can get in the same ballpark as those other schools, and then you can offer relationships not only with the coaches, not only with other recruits, but with other players, I think that's a big deal for those St. Francis kids, and Zion Elely being one of them.
Now, when we talk about Zion Elely and Auburn, I mean, this isn't something that's just going to come together in the next couple weeks, is it? I feel like we're looking at a long play here where Auburn's probably going to get him on campus a couple more times, and then it's kind of like in football. Hey, we're just going to try to hang around till the end of the fourth quarter and make a run at the end. Is that the vibe you get when it comes to this recruitment?
Absolutely. He's only been there once now, and it was a big hit. But I think you're going to try to get him back in the spring for a practice. I think you're going to get him back in the summer for an official visit. I think you want to try to get him back in the fall for a game day to let him experience that. So I'm looking at 3 more visits from Zion Elely. I think Auburn needs at least 2 more visits to get him real comfortable, real familiar, and feeling good about Auburn before December.
All right, let's move from one number 1 to another. Let's talk number 1 quarterback Jared Curtis, because he recently locked in an official visit to Auburn. That's going to come at the end of May. Former UGA commit, named Oregon as leader, but Auburn is buzzing here. Jeff, what's the latest between the Tigers and Curtis?
really think he is that tier 1 quarterback that Auburn's going to go all in on before they take anyone else. Jared Curtis has they identified him early. Of course, a lot of schools did. He's a 5-star guy for a reason. Yeah. But they got him on campus last fall for the Vanderbilt game, I believe. It didn't go – not many home games went in Auburn's favor last year. So but he enjoyed the environment. He enjoys the coaches. Ken Austin, Jesse Stone, Hugh Freeze is very involved in this recruitment. So getting him on campus again, the junior day visit, and then getting him back. No, I'm sorry. He didn't come to junior day. He was there in the fall. He's coming for an official visit, and I expect him to be there in the spring as well for a spring practice visit to get him on campus. But I don't think Auburn is – I don't think they think they're the team to beat. I don't think that, they're not having false impressions from him, but got to get him back on campus. Got to keep recruiting him. Got to keep building those relationships, and getting him back on that official visit will be big for that.
Yeah, they are solidly in the mix there, but I agree with you. Probably not considered the front runner just yet, but hey, might not be a bad place for Auburn to be right now in that race. Let's talk about a couple more 5-stars before we get out of here. 2 more. Tristen Keys is the first. Is he going to be the next 5-star wide receiver to sign with the Tigers?
The most likely, absolutely. Auburn has been in on him for a long time. They've developed relationships not only with Marcus Davis, not only with Hugh Freeze, not only with Derek Nix. All of these guys are recruiting him extremely heavy. But you've got to remember, he's got personal relationships with Deuce Knight, the quarterback Auburn just signed out of Mississippi. So I think there's a lot going on with Auburn right now. You've got him on campus already for the big junior day. You're going to get him back for an official visit. You're probably going to get him back during the spring. So Deuce Knight, believe it or not, who signed with Auburn in December, he's going through spring with Auburn. He's going to be a big deal here. He and they're very close. And I think that's going to be a big deal. It's going to keep Auburn in it. And they've had really good luck with signing top wide receivers since Hugh Freeze on campus. So I think Auburn's a legit contender here.
Yeah, they seem like it. Now I want to wrap it up with one prospect that I think Auburn still has some work to do, but they are in the mix for, and that's number 1 linebacker in the country, Tyler Atkinson. Can anybody pull him out of the state of Georgia, and will it be Auburn?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be very difficult for anybody to get him out of the Peach State. I think Auburn, if anything, has as good a shot as anyone else. I do think they'll get him back on campus for an official visit. I do think there are relationships having already been made. So Auburn will be in it. That's one of those things. I think Auburn will be in it with him until the end. I just don't think they're going to be able to pull him out of the Peach State.
Well, Auburn fans, it's an exciting cycle already with the top 5 class, but if they're going to maintain that, they got to land more. And this right here, this is a nice group of guys that they are after. Auburn fans, talk to Jeff Lee and I. Do you think the Tigers will land On3's number 1 overall player, Zion Elely? Let me know. Comment section below.